Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to what is my first ever sim racing video. Today we are doing Tier 4 on F1WL, the F1WL Racing League. We're on Mercedes team right now, and for a little bit of context, this is around mid-season, and I'm on Mercedes, and I'm in the championship lead within a battle with the Alpha Tauri driver of Rimac Orange. So this is a very, very pivotal race for us, and I'm very excited to get into it. And I'm actually pretty strong around France, as you'll see later. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what this race has in store because it's a very high speed, flowing track with a lot of stress on the tires. So this is really going to come down to who can manage their tires the best and who has the best race strategy for tires. So with that being said, let's get right into qualifying with everyone having a little bit of fun with the ready button. Yeah, but we go into qualifying and we're ready on a fast lap. We waited a little bit of time now, so it's now 10 minutes as we go into the final corner on our first lap on the medium tires, because again, this is a very, very hard tire, very hard on the tires, this circuit. So medium is going to be the best, and it's only good enough for a 32.3, and that's not very good. As we transition to our second lap on the mediums, much better. You can see on the top right, 7/10 up, 2 purple sectors, and now we're running up to the line. What is it going to be? It's going to be 7/10 faster and a 1:31.6. Only 1/2 slower than pole. So I felt really, really good. But at the end of the qualifying, as everyone set more laps, it would only be P5. And unfortunately, that's just not enough, as now we go to the grid after the formation lap. And I was really excited because right next to me is our championship rival, also on the mediums, as we go to 5 red lights in France, and lights out and away we go. A little bit of a longer light here in France, and it's a horrible start for me. A lot of wheel spin, and Dan Super in the Williams has already gotten it past me, and I'm already somehow losing touch with everyone as Dan Super tries to go around the outside, and then there's contact with Dan Super as he also just clips me. I tried to avoid him as best as I could, but I really just couldn't get out of the way fully, and I tapped him around. As now into the chicane, we're closing up to Rimac, and now we go to the straight as he loses it a little bit on the curb, and now we have the run up on the straight. He goes off a little bit wide, and that allows me to close right up to him with the ERS. And this is a very also important circuit to keep ERS in, because it's now going to be a very hard circuit. You see me go all the way to the left to try to bait him into a mistake, and he loses on the curb again, and that allows me yet again to close up to the back of him. And now thinking of a move to the inside of this long flat right-hander, and I think a little bit better of it because I don't want a collision, and I kind of back out of it at the last second. And now we're trying to just stick on him into the Mickey Mouse section. This is where the tires overheat. But now we transition to a little bit later to the next lap. And now we're on that straight once again. Now we have our ERS stuck on overtake. We were trying to close up to the back of him. We lost a little bit of touch with him, but we're in that slipstream as heavy braking into the chicane. But I noticed throughout this race, I was definitely braver on the brakes than everyone, especially into that chicane. I would gain up a bunch of time. Like you see on the top left, it was 7/10. Now just under 6/10 as we head into the long right-hander once again. And again, this part of the last sector is so hard on the tires, and they will be overheating. And that's why the medium tire is the best tire to be on, because after the softs just start to overheat, they are done for. So now they're starting to lose grip as me and Rimac start to catch them, as now we transition again to the next lap, and we are much closer, under 5/10, sorry, as we go onto the main straight. And DRS is active on this lap. As we get DRS, we're in that slipstream. We have the ERS. We move to the inside, and I thought the move was done, but no, Rimac is going to come back at us Ooh, very punch and go with him in the outside. I get a little bit too familiar with the curb and exceed the track limits just a little bit, but I have a much better run with ERS. And now we head into the long right-hander as Rimac is going to try to size up a move into this, but we just break that little bit later than him and get a much better run through these corners. Now we transition to the very next lap and going on to the 5th lap now as we've closed up to the back of this group with their soft tires just dying out. Again, the medium tires are just they're not as good as a qualifying tire, but the race tire, that's where it really counts, and it's a very, very, very good race tire. As now we go on to into the other straight. Again, that chicane, the first 2 corners, I noticed I was very late on the brakes, way later than everyone else, and into that chicane as well. As now we transition again into the back straight. A lot of understeer into the corner. But now we head on to the back straight. DRS is again active. We know ERS right here. Try to save as much as we possibly can. Just try to keep with these guys with their dying tires. I know it's just a matter of time until I can just pass them with their tire life dying out. And now again into the chicane, on the exit of the chicane, I'm closing up to the back of these guys. Just under 2/10 is the difference between us. And flat out go a little bit too wide, but David goes just a little bit too close and loses it a little bit. But now, again, through this overheating tires, trying to close up to the back of him, he goes a little bit too close to the apex, and goes a little bit off, and I get too close as well, almost lose it on the curb as he dives into the pit lane now. And now we're up into P3, into the podium positions. And now we are switching back to P6. We have the purple Sector 1, and we're closing up to the leaders, Zach Skate and P2 High Caliber, who has the current fastest lap, as they're squabbling in front. And this is exactly what we need to try to catch up to the back of these guys. Heavy braking into the chicane again. And again, we're right on the back of them already. Just under 5/10 as the gap is going up a little bit. 4.5 is the difference between us. Getting into that slipstream, using a tiny bit of overtake. Long right-hander. Again, these tires are screaming. The soft tires are screaming right now. So these guys will be very slow, especially through this sector. And where it just allows us to go right up to the back of them, as we're just trying to basically push them through this sector. And just trying to allow them to fight as much as they possibly can, and then us just sweep around them. As now we go to the main straight, and now we have DRS and ERS and the slipstream, so all 3, as we turn off actually the ERS to try to save a little bit, as now we try to bait Zach Skate into the middle, try to make him brake a little bit later, try to make a mistake, but unfortunately it just does not work. And we are still behind him going into the second straight and the second chicane. Now, again, heavy braking into these parts of these corners. And now we go, again, head along to the back straight again. As in that corner right there, so much understeer, around 50% lock. That's just really hard. And that's especially a corner that can degrade the tires a lot. And now we have DRS on Zach Skate, again, doing the tactic to bait him into the corner. No, again, it doesn't work. And now we transition into Zach Skate pits at the end of that lap, but now we've transitioned to lap 8. And now we have DRS. And ERS on High Caliber, we're going to go for the move. We're going to go really early into the inside, and we just sweep around them. No contest really into that corner. And that's us up into the lead. And again, these this is the perfect strategy, I think. Mediums to hards are the best strategy for this race, especially if there's a safety car. You don't have to make 2 stops and then make another one when you're on the soft, the 2-stop strategy on the softs. So this is the optimal strategy for me. As we now go through this corner,
tire condition is still looking good.
still, we're keeping him behind, and we already look at the gap already, 8/10 just in that little sector. The soft tires really, really, really degrading. Already 1.3 seconds, 1.2, as now he has DRS, so he will close up. But yeah, that sector is just horrible on the soft tires. And now we transition to lap 11, and this is my time to come in now. This is a lap I'll be coming in, and we just need a clean stop, so we dive into the pit lane, go a little bit too wide, but that's all good. As we go into the pit lane now, and I'm just this whole time I'm watching the mini map, just see where Zach Skate and High Caliber is on the track. As now we hold the clutch, a very good stop, 2.6 seconds, and now it's just the run down the pit straight to see if we can get ahead of Zach Skate, if we can at least stay ahead of High Caliber, which is the kind of target zone as Zach Skate. And now we just hit the part where we can accelerate, and Zach Skate has gone past us right now, but we are just that little bit closer. And right into here, cold hard tires. I nearly spun. Not a lot of visual cue that will spin, but feeling the wheel as I'm weaving just to try to get a little bit of heat into those tires. But in the car, like in that with the wheel, it just pulled to the left to try to maybe spin, and that was very scary to almost spin there. As now we go onto the back straight. Now we have DRS again. We are that much closer. We are so close to the race lead. The win is definitely within a grasp, so we're just trying to stick with him because we know he'll probably make another stop, and it will be more than likely our win. And now we transition into lap 13. We have the DRS. We're catching him every single lap. We're staying in within that DRS zone as he goes quite early to the inside and swerves. As I try to again bait him into braking late into that corner, and of course, like the previous sectors, it just does not work. It usually works on some of the other drivers, but not on Zach Skate. As now we go into possibly the worst sector as Zach Skate loses it on the curb. Very, very lucky. Good car control to keep it out of the wall and to save it. But at this point, Zach Skate would lose connection with the car, and unfortunately that's a very good battle. Unfortunately lost to now. I'm just probably gonna overtake him coming into the DRS zone as we get DRS and ERS here on the main straight, closing up to the back of him. And all I've got to do is just brake later than the AI, and that's exactly what I do. Sweep into the first corner, and we are in the lead. And unfortunately, that's kind of going to be the only real overtake, and it's going to be kind of a boring race. And we transition to lap 22. At this point, they're asking for an interview, and I actually get a 3-second time penalty trying to do stuff for the interview in a mid-race interview. So that is definitely one of the most embarrassing penalties I've ever gotten. But yeah, it was it was hilarious. But now as we transition to the final lap, I'm actually going to let the commentators take over here.
But as we enter the final corner, it will, for the third time in a row, making it a hat-trick, it will be your winner, Zachy Man.
But yeah, it's another race win, and like he said, a hat-trick of wins, 3 in a row. And that was such a good feeling, because I really wasn't sure coming into this race, and that just solidified me, especially getting P5 in qualifying. I was kind of shocked going into it. I thought it could have been pretty good, but qualifying P5 definitely didn't help me. And also, I actually also did a tier 3 race as well, and it was so intense. It was so much fun. There was a lot of battles, and I also ended up winning that, and it was so intense. It was amazing, but unfortunately I lost the footage. But yeah, unfortunately, but I'll get you guys next time. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.